Welcome to 580 week 2. So this week we are starting into the initial planning of the project. By about the middle of week 2, we will have your research groups planned out. So look forward to seeing what that looks like. It's going to be fun. One thing I would definitely encourage you to do, probably more so than other classes, is really try and keep up with that reading. If you don't have your book yet, or if you may be a type of person that doesn't read books much for graduate courses, which I did on occasion. So, assuming there are other people that were like me that occasionally would be like, wow, this doesn't really fit. I would encourage you to really do your best to keep up with with the reading, because the chapters that are assigned really align with the assignments and the progress you'll be making, particularly with those discussion boards and your group project. So if you don't have the books yet for whatever reason, if you go to vitalsource.com, you'll be able to just buy that, or actually rent it rather cheaply. And then they have an iPad app bookshelf where you're able to read it if you want to be able, or not iPad, just mobile app, if you don't want to have to read on a laptop. There's a mobile version of it that makes it pretty easy, and the desktop version has some really great highlighting and annotation tools if you've not um, spent any time on VitalSource. So I encourage you to continue working with that this week with some of your readings, and that learning module. You click play. Um, you're going to be looking at the characteristics of quantitative and qualitative research. And also, if you missed it the week before, if you've not read the preface to the book, I think it's a really cool intro actually to the course about the author's kind of bias towards research as an educator, but then also once she got into research, other researchers bias towards action research not really being research, but then how it is so much that she chose to write a book about it. I think that for me really set a clear tone for what action research can be and the value of it as an educator. And one more thing that I'll just probably continue to say every week. If you are feeling overwhelmed, and you likely are already at this point, like that's okay. That's where you should be. And you do action researcher as an educator every day, right? Collecting student data, getting that feedback, and using that feedback to make choices in your classroom. So in a lot of ways, teaching is action research, right? So it's just learning some of the protocols of what formal action research is. So I think if you go in with that kind of mindset, um, it it's less daunting. It's more exciting, I think. Certainly for me. I would also love to hear about kind of your take on it and what has helped or not. If we get into kind of logistics of week 2, what's coming up, you'll have your groups kind of midweek, and Thursday for the initial post. You'll be doing a bit of work kind of within that group. That'll be your first thing, is around that discussion post. By the end of week 2, the NIH training certificate of completion, that upload is due. If it's an image, please make sure, by the way, that it's a PNG or a JPEG. That's what plays well with Blackboard. This should have been something that you have already completed. If not, it'll give you a chance to do that. And then the assignment number 1 is due. This is your initial planning as a group, where you'll initially plan your research, where you come up with, have that topic, you'll have the problem, purpose, and intervention. And then you'll have a collaborative reflection around the problem, the purpose, the research questions, and the intervention. At the bottom of week 2, there's something that says click here to view the initial planning assignment criteria. That takes you to a Google Doc. And if you want to start kind of organizing these, if you click that little folder right next to the title in Google Docs, you can move it to a folder called 580. And so it walks you through the parts of the assignment, right? The problem and purpose, the research questions, the intervention, and then just basically go through the Google Doc, right? And the thing I think to continually keep in mind, and I'll probably say this every week also, right? The proposal is a proposed study plan. So 580 is the proposal class. 605 is going to be the action research, the actual doing the research, right? Um, it's okay if those, I bonked the table. It's okay if those are different. They probably should be different. The same way when I taught a video in the classroom course, the rough draft of the final video, that it was a big video, right? And so many people felt that the storyboard, the rough draft, and the final video should be like the same thing. And no, right? Like when you write out the script, you're gonna shoot it and it's gonna look way different. That final edit should also be pretty different from your initial ideas of stick figures. It's the same sort of thing. So as you look at this initial planning, go into it knowing that it should change. And again, if you look at kind of the weightedness of all the assignments, this first assignment is going to be 10 points. So think about kind of what that means, in context of the entire course. And the last thing, just as a reminder, is earlier in the end of week 1, I sent out another announcement about the library research review. So your orientation is going to be Monday night, January 22nd. That's of week 3. So you can just leave assignment number 2 and don't worry about that and submit